Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a while. I think it's been a couple months actually. And I just wanted to check in with you guys and kind of let you know how this women's health nurse practitioner school thing is going. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. All right, y'all. So I have a couple of questions that I wanted to go over. No one's asked me any questions really, but it's a couple of things that I felt like were pretty good questions that some of you may have. And I just wanted to kind of answer some things that I feel like I would want to know if I was in someone's shoes that is just wanting to start out with NP school or thinking about going to NP school, or you're just getting accepted into NP school. So I just thought of some questions that I would want to know the answer to. First of all, I wanted to say that I am in my 4th semester, if I'm not mistaken, and it's getting a little tougher now. I am at a school that does only part-time. There's no full-time NP program, women's health NP program for me, only part-time. So only part-time for me. And I feel like that's really good for work, school, life balance, kind of, although I'm still going to have to go PRN very soon. Actually, we'll get into that. We'll get into all that, okay? So let's just jump right into the questions. So question number 1, what classes am I currently taking on my Women's Health Nurse Practitioner program? So right now I am finally in my actual Women's Health Nurse Practitioner courses. So I am taking women's health primary care for women's health. I'm taking that, and then I'm also taking women's health pharmacology, which is a lot different than I was taking. When was this? Maybe 2 semesters ago, I want to say. I took advanced pharm, which is totally different. These are drugs that are more used for women only, more women specific. And I can say it's challenging. It's exciting to actually be taking the classes that are for what I'm going to be doing, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking. I feel kind of overwhelmed because usually the last couple of quarters or semesters that I've had, it's been classes where I would have one major class for the semester, and then the other class would be kind of like a class that I didn't have to focus on as much. But since both of these are kind of like the heavy hitter classes, it's a little bit tougher. I feel a little bit more nervous because it's two classes that are very important. Women's health primary care for women's health. I don't know why I want to say it that way. And then women's health pharmacology. These are both things that are very important to what I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing in the future. So I feel like I need my focus on those things. So it's kind of hard to work full time right now and then pay attention fully in those things. And it's just a little tougher. So it's a little tricky. If you can, guys, if you don't have to work, don't work. Or if you can do PRN from the start, do PRN from the start. I feel like it would be better as a nurse if you don't have to work full time. You can dedicate more time to school, and it would only benefit you. It wouldn't harm you other than financially. That's what I'm saying. If you can, definitely do it. Financially, we weren't able for me to not work the whole time, but coming up in June, I will be going to PRN or as needed nursing. I'll probably only work 1 day a week because I have clinicals and everything. But like I said, that's another story. Let's go to the next question. So what are the key topics covered in your women's health pharmacology and primary care courses? So for me, in women's health pharmacology, like I said, this is only week 2 or week 3. This is only week 2. This is week 3. This is week 3, guys. I'm sorry. It's all running together. This is week 3. So in week 1 and 2 for pharmacology, we're covering a lot of antimicrobials and antibacterials, antivirals, stuff like that. And then this week, we're actually doing a lot of drugs for like UTIs and stuff like that. Still kind of covering the same thing. Things for like urinary tract infections, kind of STDs. We haven't fully gotten to the STD vibe of it, but I know it's coming. So that's kind of what we're doing for that. And then in my primary care for women's health, we're doing a lot of, what do you want to call it? Like dermatology things, skin. So learning the difference between a vesicle and a macule and a pustule versus what else? Carbuncle, furuncle, all these weird things that go on with skin. We're learning more about that. And then this week, since yesterday was the start of the new week, I haven't really started studying or getting into it yet. We're going to be doing a lot of GI stuff this week. So that ought to be interesting. It still kind of feels like the primary care portion is more generalized, which makes sense because it does say primary care. So I feel like a lot of women are going to be coming to you for things that aren't necessarily strictly women's health related. It can be things wrong with them and the only practitioner that they see or the only type of medical that they see. So they'll have a lot of questions. You need to know who to refer to. You still need to know the basics, basically. So I guess that's why this class is, pretty much important. So it still feels kind of more generalized than specialized on women, but it's okay. We're going to get through it. So next question. How do these courses fit into your overall women's health nurse practitioner curriculum? So that's kind of like what I just said a few seconds ago. I feel like the primary care women's health, it's more like a lot of women are going to come to you and you are the only person that they see. A lot of women, I feel like, if they don't go to a primary doctor, they're at least going to their women's health exams. Like they're going to that. Most women are doing that. Even if it's at your local health department, they're doing that if they're not doing anything else. So a lot of the times you are their primary care for the most part. So you need to know at least the basics of certain things and how to handle certain things. Like we were talking about styes on the eye, something I never thought that I would have to learn about really as a nurse practitioner for women only. We were talking about the difference between conjunctivitis that happens because of gonorrhea or just regular bacterial conjunctivitis and stuff like that. I hope I said that right. I'm still learning, guys, okay? But yeah, just learning a lot of different things that you wouldn't think that you would have to know in women's health. But it makes sense because, a woman is still a human. Women have all these things. These women have all these things happening to their body, and you may be the only one that they're seeing. So you need to be able to at least give them some idea of what's going on, basics. And if it's too much, if it's out of your scope, you need to know who to refer to. So that's something that we're learning. Next question. What has been the most challenging part of my coursework so far? So I would say the most challenging part is definitely time management. Something about me right now is having a very hard time figuring out how to manage life, work, and school. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I haven't been in school in 7 years. Well, almost 8 years. In May, it'll be 8 years. But it's just not clicking. It's just not like trying to fit in things at different times. I miss my naps. Like I'm a gamer. I like playing video games. It's like I'm not fully focused. And that's something that I've been praying to God about to help me because I need to focus. I don't want to pay all this money for school and then not make it in the end because my focus was off. I feel like I'm learning a lot, but I want to be more focused. I don't want to just memorize. I want to know this. I feel like I'm going to be someone's provider. I need to have my full attention on this information so I will be able to help people the best I can, especially not knowing what I'm going to do afterwards as far as what area I would be going into. A part of me feels kind of drawn to health department just because I've worked there before and I know they're underserved and just more rural. And I know those people that lean on the health department for their care, they're going to basically be seeing you as primary, pretty much. And I just want to be able to help them the best way I can and use the knowledge that I've learned and I paid for to better help these people, So I'm just struggling with that work balance and school balance. But I think that'll get better once I am PRN instead of full-time at work, because full-time at work is a little tough. Like, I just got off. Luckily, we got off early. I was like, let me do this YouTube video, and then I got to jump right into my school stuff. Like, there's no time for a nap. No naps today, but it's okay. We'll be fine. Next question. How do you balance studying with work and personal life? Like I just said, I don't. It's very hard. I feel like I'm either way too much on one side or way too much on the other. I feel like the balance is off right now, but I feel like it's more of me not wanting to give up the pleasures of like things that I want to do. I just don't want to give that up fully yet. And I feel like I don't have a choice this semester. Like, I just have to. And I have already been spending more time in my studies and stuff than I have in the other semesters, just because I feel like I have to. This is some tough stuff. This isn't just something that you can like just skate through. You have to be focused. You have to be mentally focused and prepared for grad school. And don't be like me and not realize that until your third or fourth quarter, because then you'll be looking crazy like me. But it's okay. Like I said, we're gonna get through it. Next question. What study strategies have been most effective for you? So the studying that I have been doing, I'm passing. I have A's and everything. So I haven't had a B or C in any class. So what I'm doing can't be too horrible. Most of my classes have PowerPoints. So what I've been doing is printing out PowerPoints and basically taking down almost everything that literally comes out of the teacher's mouth, and I'm writing it on the slides. And then I'll go back into the book, and I got all the electronic books this quarter. Also, that's another thing. You can rent a lot of these books on like Chegg or Amazon sometimes. Don't spend all that money on those books if you don't have to. Renting is just fine. There was one book, it was like $118 if I was to purchase it brand new, versus renting it was only $39. So of course I'm going to rent it, you know? And then a lot of the time ebooks, even if you have to purchase it, like there's not a rental option or something, the ebooks are cheaper than the physical books. Okay. So that's something that you guys should, try to remember, because you don't want to waste money that you don't have, basically. But anyway, I print out the PowerPoints, write down basically everything the teacher says out of her mouth that sounds important. And then I'll go back in the book and kind of read through, and anything that I feel like is kind of important or that kind of adds on to what she said, I will add that to the PowerPoint as well. And then I use Quizlet sometimes to take pictures of my notes, and it makes flashcards for you. Just make sure you write very legibly, or it will not pick up what you wrote very well. It'll say jumbled up stuff because it's AI, right? So just take a picture, make sure you write neat, take pictures of it, and it makes flashcards for you. So you can kind of be anywhere just studying all of your notes, which I love. I love that so much. And then if I'm at home, I'll just take my actual notebook that I wrote everything down in, and then just kind of read over it. Lately, I have been using GoodNotes. I can actually show you guys. So I've always wanted to be an iPad girly, and I feel like this is the first quarter where I'm actually doing that. So I've been using like GoodNotes lately for this one class. I always print out the slides, just because I've had this same teacher. This is my third time having her since I've been in this program now. So I kind of know how she works. I know how her tests are. I kind of know her flow. But this other teacher, she has so many slides and just so much information. And I was like, I don't want to keep printing this stuff out. So I've been using GoodNotes for her. And I kind of just, let's see, vaginitis and STIs, right? So it's kind of what it looks like. I've been using GoodNotes, and you just kind of write down the stuff on the slide without having to print it out, which I love. And GoodNotes doesn't always download properly, I've noticed. So like sometimes I'll have to go in and add some things because it'll cut off certain things on the slide. So I'll kind of just go through the slide first before I even listen to anything that the teacher said and go through the slide and just kind of see what's been cut off, and I'll add that on there so I won't be missing out anything. But yeah, so it's just kind of like you can just write different things. And I really like it because it's just electronic and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays. So like you can highlight and everything. So if you have an iPad, this is really good. I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably already know about this, but I'm new to the iPad girly game when it comes to school. I was a typical old notebook and paper and pen type of girl, but this is really saving my life. So if you can afford it, this is something that's really good to invest in because it will save you money. It'll save you paper. It will save the trees. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Are there any specific resources, books, apps, websites that have been helpful for your studies? So yes, I mentioned one earlier or two earlier. Chegg, that's really good for renting your books, especially ebooks. Quizlet is really good for taking pictures of your notes and letting it kind of create flashcards for you instead of taking all that time out to write flashcards for yourself if you are a flashcard person. What else? I think those are the main two that I've been using. I haven't really used much else other than my books, and yeah, those two are a biggie for me right now. Of course, the further you get into your courses, the teachers will kind of start telling you more about different apps that they use for clinical diagnosis and stuff like that, like the CDC guidelines, the STD guidelines, certain stuff like that. But they'll tell you about that once you're in your courses. But as far as to help me study, I would say definitely Chegg for buying my books or renting my books, and then Quizlet for creating the flashcards for me, because those are just amazing. Like, it helps so much instead of me actually having to rewrite all that stuff that I already wrote down and making my own flashcards. It's just so much more helpful. Next question. So, what excites you the most about starting clinicals in June? What excites me the most, but also makes me nervous, is the fact that I'm about to actually start dealing with the population of people that I want to deal with, which is the women. And it'll be for the first time in this type of role. And it's a lot different, I feel like, than a nurse. I'm glad that it's not going to be like how it was when I was a nursing student, like undergrad, because I was so scared to even walk in the room and like talk to them. It was like that type of scared. But now I have that down. Like, that's not the issue. I'm not nervous to talk to anyone. Like, that's not the problem. I feel like I'm more nervous about, am I going to know everything, you know? But that's also exciting because there's so much knowledge to be had as an NP. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just exciting. It's nerve-wracking, but also exciting at the same time to like just actually be doing something that you never thought you would be able to do. Like, I never thought I was going back to school. Like, I told my husband when I graduated that was it. And then here I am. So it's exciting when I start clinicals. It's exciting to actually be basically getting my little feet wet into the thing that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So that's very exciting, but also nervous. I'm nervous about that. How are you preparing for your clinical rotations? So that's the stressor of mine right now. I do have one clinical rotation kind of in the works. It's at a job that I used to work at, and I think that one should be fine. I think it'll go through smoothly, but I'm kind of nervous about what to do after, because with the particular school that I'm going to, which I know someone did ask me that in one of my last videos, which school or which program, I'm not allowed to say. Kind of read through their policies and stuff, and I'm not allowed to really talk about them, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm kind of nervous about trying to find my second clinical rotations. I have to have those figured out by, I want to say, June. I have to know my second set of clinicals by June, which is when I start my first set. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Makes me a little nervous, but I'm just going to take it one day at a time. Pray about it. I know God will help me out. If it's his will, God will figure it out for me. I just got to put in a little bit of work and let him do the rest. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to pray about that. I know that first clinical rotations, I think that'll pan out just perfectly the way it's supposed to. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that kind of goes along with that first clinical rotation. Like, I may have to stay with family and everything when I'm doing clinicals. I'm just lucky to even have family in that area, you know. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to when it comes to that. What advice would you give to other students pursuing a women's health NP degree? I feel like I've been giving that advice this whole video. Don't procrastinate. Take it seriously from the beginning. It's nothing like nursing school. Everything, your mentality is going to have to be different with the freaking pharmacology, women's health pharmacology. You're not learning the meds to just know what they are and know the side effects. You're learning the meds in a way that's totally different. Like, you need to know that this class of medications will do this to the body, and this is how this works. So when it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work, you need to know, okay, I tried this because of this. So now I need to know my alternatives, and if the patient is even able to have the alternative, will this affect them based on the other drugs that they're taking? Will those affect everything? Will those affect the patient differently? Because it's different. You could have a 22-year-old girl come in on birth control only. It's kind of easy to kind of manipulate her medicines and her birth control to kind of figure out everything. She's only taking one thing. But it's different if you have a 52-year-old that's taking a atorvastatin, losartan, stuff for osteoarthritis, just all these things, estrogen, because, you know, menopause, and it's so many different meds that someone could be taking, and then they're just in there with you for a UTI. But you need to be sure that the medication that you're giving them for a UTI doesn't affect anything that they're already taking. Like, as far as like just the whole, I don't know, I can't explain it, but you see where I'm going with it. It's just like, it's a lot more you have to take into consideration. You don't have an order from a doctor telling you what to do most times. You're the one doing the clinical thinking, the critical thinking, and trying to figure out what to do. You can always go to someone and get help, but it's like you're the person, you're the provider. And I think that's pretty cool, pretty scary, but pretty cool. When you're doing this, take that into account, okay? It's different mindset. Also, I feel like time management is important. Definitely make sure that if you can, get rid of all the extras. Get rid of all the things that are unnecessary in life and focus. Just focus on this. Focus on this, focus on God. Focus on your marriage if you're married too, of course. Don't leave your man out, okay? But just focus. You're going to have to tell people, hey, I'm stepping back for a while. Got to focus on school, and they'll understand. Don't plan any trips. That's another thing. I have 2 trips planned, guys, and I'm freaking out. One of my cruise, the day I leave for my cruise that we already paid for, I have a final. So I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean trying to do a final, praying that the internet doesn't go out. So, yeah, don't be like me. Be better. Be better than me, okay? Be better than me. Don't plan any trips. Don't plan any trips, okay? Next question. How do you stay motivated throughout the semester? I focus on the goal. I focus on the mission I feel like God has set me on. You know, the goal that God wants me to get to is to help people. And I think I've been brought here to do more. I just feel like I have a higher purpose when it comes to helping people. And I think this would be a way to help people in a different way. That's kind of another reason why I kind of want to go back to the health department after. I've been thinking about it long and hard. Either that or infertility clinics or something, because I personally struggle with that. I know y'all saw the video on my page. If you haven't, check it out. I was very vulnerable with that. Anyway, not going to cry right now. Anyway, so I just feel like that motivates me. And I pray every day that I'm doing the right thing and that this is the path, because sometimes I struggle with knowing if this is the right thing to do. But I have to remember, God is going to lead you. Everyone has free will, but if you're following God and you know God, I feel like you'll do the right thing. So I feel like I'm doing the right thing, even if sometimes I get confused and wonder if I should be doing this, or is this the right thing? Oh my God, why did I do this? Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh, this is a lot of money. I'm paying a lot of money. Like, I feel like I'm 99% sure that this is what God is calling me to do. And I just want to navigate that the right way and the way that he wants me to. And I pray for the discernment to know that, like, this is it. So yeah, that's how I stay motivated. What are your career goals after completing the program? Like I mentioned earlier, I think I either want to go into infertility or public health with this degree. Don't know which avenue I will go down or if I will do either. But right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. The health department or the public health kind of side of it all has always been interesting to me. And I know that would help people because everyone can afford to go to a private OB or a private doctor's office, you know, especially women. And I feel like we need that care, whether we can afford it or not. So I don't mind giving back and taking even a smaller pay, you know what I'm saying, to help those women, just like I did the first time around when I was an RN and I worked at the health department as a nurse. The pay is totally different than what you would get at a hospital or anywhere else. But I feel like every day I kind of felt fulfilled because it's like I'm helping someone, you know. And I feel like that's enough. It's not always about money. Money's good. I'm not gonna pretend like money doesn't matter. We're not gonna lie. But I feel like also money isn't everything, you know. And as long as I can pay my bills, keep a roof over my head, and go on a trip or two every now and then, I feel like I'm okay. And even if God decided to take all that away, I'd still be okay. So it's like, money at the end of the day doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And if you live life thinking that way, your life will be so much better. And so I try to remember that. I try to remember God can take all this away right now. And what am I going to do? Cry about it? No, you're going to realize at the end of the day, money matters, but God is more important. And you just got to follow what he wants you to do. Help the people that you need to help and realize that you can do all this whether you had $100 or $1 million. So just always keep your focus on that. And that's what I try to do. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far? I think the most rewarding part has not came yet. I think it's coming. I think being able to basically regurgitate and say everything that I'm learning with confidence, that's going to be rewarding. Like, I can't wait until I can spit out anything you need to know about a UTI or about infertility or birth control or STDs. Like, when I get to that point, I'm going to feel so like full and just happy because that means it's not all for nothing and that I actually know what I'm doing. So when I get to that point, I think I'll feel pretty good. And I think it's coming. I think after this quarter, I'm going to be almost there because I'm having to study more than I have had to these last previous semesters. So I think that part's coming. Okay, last question, guys. And this is an important one. How do you incorporate self-care while managing a busy schedule? I don't as much as I should. I'm not a big like nails and toes girly like I used to be. It's just money that could be cut out. But I want to start back taking care of my nails and stuff myself. I used to do that. So I'm going to definitely pick that back up. I try to relax and just still take time for myself. Usually Bible time is like, is that my husband? Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm back. My husband just got back from the gym. Speaking of self-care, the gym is something that I'm going to try to incorporate into this whole thing because I visited the doctor for my physical that I had to get for school. And my cholesterol was a little bit elevated. And I think I was on the verge of pre-diabetes. I was like a 5.3 or 4. And pre-diabetes is 5.7 if y'all didn't know. And I don't like it. So I got to basically work more on myself and not let school fully take over my life while also letting it take over my life, which is kind of hard to do. But yeah, so Bible time is definitely a self-care thing that I do. I feel like that's definitely a part of self-care. Getting close with God, saying your prayers, spending time in the Word, finding time to study my Bible while also studying for school has been tricky for me. And I feel so conflicted sometimes about how I can study more for school but not study my word. And I get really iffy about that, and I get conflicted. But I'm trying to learn and tell myself that that's a legalistic way of thinking. There's nowhere that says you have to study the Bible every day, but you should be in your word every day. So AKA, I can read my Bible every day. Not even, it doesn't have to be a million verses or chapters, but just taking that time to actually read something and trying to understand it versus studying. Studying is totally different. For me, studying is, I have 6 different Bibles, right? Bibles and commentaries and all this, and I sit down for hours, 2-3 hours. That's something I could take time out to do, maybe less since I'm in school, but never just not read my word at all. And that's kind of hard to do. Sometimes I have to remember that you need to be in God's word every day. You don't have to study it. It's a difference. But you need to be in that word every day, because the way this world is going, baby, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, going out with my husband, we still try to do that. Sometimes we love a little Target run where we're just walking around, not even buying nothing, just being out, just relaxing, not being bogged down by school. So I feel like that's a part of self-care. Watching a little TV, watching a little YouTube. I love your vlogs. I don't know if y'all watch her. Love her vlogs. I've been watching all the old ones. Anyway, shout out to you, Javlog. Shout out. But yeah, it's just, you have to figure out what works for you and realize that school is going to take over, but it doesn't have to fully take over. You can still be you. You can still have a life, guys. It's just a little, you have to figure it out. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope I answered some questions that maybe you guys were thinking about. I try to think of stuff that would be kind of generic questions that you would ask someone who's doing something like this. But if you have something more detailed or something specific to ask me, definitely don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. When I get on this camera, I just lose all my words, y'all. I'm sorry, I get a little anxious. But definitely ask anything. I'm here. I know a lot of you were commenting on my last video saying that you're starting women's health NP school, and a lot of us are kind of going through some of the same things, or you're about to go through some of the same things. So definitely ask some questions down below, or tell me some video ideas that you want to see that involves this, or that involves God or Jesus or any of that, because you know this channel is both. So definitely comment down below anything that you guys want to know. And I'm really hoping that I helped somebody today, gave them some motivation. Hopefully I didn't scare y'all too bad. It's not the end of the world, guys. We're going to get through it. You're going to make it. Don't let me scare you. I just want you to be prepared and pray. Pray about it all. Pray without ceasing, guys. Always be praying for God to give you the strength to make it through this, if it's his will, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay? But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.